Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be an empties. I have a huge bag full of stuff that I finished up in the last 2 months, so let's dive right in. To kick it off, this is something that I finished just this morning. This is the Tarte Mermaid Skin Hyaluronic H2O Serum. It is an enormous bottle. There is 1.7 fluid ounces in this thing, and I swear this took me like 3 or 4 months of daily use to finish the whole thing up. And sadly, I didn't love it. When I first started using it, it felt like it was really tightening my skin, which I think a lot of people may actually like if you are somebody who wants your pores to be tightened. But for me, I'm somebody who only wants something to hydrate my skin, and I really didn't like how it made my skin feel so tight. I mean, clearly I liked it enough to use it up over the last few months or so, but it's not something that I would ever pick up of my own accord. This was sent to me in PR. I mean, the bottle's pretty, the product had no scent, it seemed okay-ish, it just wasn't my style of product. I have a nail polish remover here. This is the Aqua nail polish remover in the Nourishing format. Do not like this one. I like their regular or their strengthener. The Nourishing one does weird stuff to my nails. It kind of like embeds the nail color onto my actual nails. Whenever I use this to take off nail polish, I notice that it left so much more staining behind, so don't love this one, but I've repurchased the other ones that they make. This is the Aveeno Positively Radiant Toner, one of my absolute favorites. I have mentioned this for a very long time, and I will continue to purchase this whenever I run out of toners. It is my absolute favorite on the market. I feel like it is soothing, it's refreshing to my skin, and it's just one of the best that I have ever used. And one of the reasons my favorites, and this is a story I've told before, so forgive me if you've already heard this, but there is new people joining all the time. This toner at one point in time removed a large chunk of itchiness that I had on my face at one point that wasn't like visible, but it just felt itchy, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And this toner was the only thing that got rid of it. So for that reason, I will be forever indebted to the Aveeno Positively Radiant Toner. Here's an Aveeno product I didn't love, which is very unusual for me because I rave about the brand constantly. Now, there was nothing inherently wrong with this, it just was fine. I didn't love it, there was nothing special about it. This is the Daily Moisturizing Body Wash. There's no particular scent on this one, and I think that's truly just why I didn't love it as much, is because the scent is just so bland. There was just nothing particularly special about this body wash, although it did clean me, so it did its job, but there are other scents by Aveeno I prefer more. And I finished up a glitter spray, which is very exciting. So this is the scented glitter spray by Bath & Body Works. It's their warm vanilla sugar scent. I really love their glitter sprays. I finished up another one recently, I think called Sky, but this one was getting kind of old, so I kind of made a point to finish it up. And I do have an oddly large amount of perfume lately, so I've just been trying to finish up a lot of bottles, like focus on a perfume and get it done, so I just don't have like half full bottles everywhere. So this is the latest one that I finished. So I loved it. I kind of got tired by the scent of it towards the end, but I mean, I love the glitter and the scent was fine. It was just like too much use over time. I'd rather try something new next time. I have Dermal Therapy right here, and I would have just mentioned hauling this in my last month's haul. So this is Dermal Therapy's heel care, and I have mentioned before that I have nasty heels. I get heel cracks and they ain't pretty, and they can be quite painful. This is the only thing that actually repairs the skin. You do have to use it daily, but once you get into the rhythm of using it daily, your heels basically go back to normal, like the way they should be, unbroken skin. Nothing else I have used has worked as well as this, so if you have heel cracks, I would recommend you pick this up. My mom gets the huge tube for me at Costco, but you can buy a smaller one at Walmart. I have a body scrub here by Mary Kay. This is the Satin Body Revitalizing Shea Scrub in the white tea and citrus scent. I really like Mary Kay's body care, and I really like the white tea and citrus scent, but I didn't like it in this format. I didn't feel like the body scrub was that great. The bits didn't seem to be doing a whole lot, and it was really like gelatinous but creamy at the same time. I mean, the smell was fantastic, don't get me wrong, and I have used other products in their range in the white tea and citrus scent, but this one just was like a no for me. I have a face mask here by Masquerade. This is their Beauty Restore Nourish and Relax Hydrating Sheet Mask. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of sheet masks, but I do feel like the Masquerade ones actually work, which is impressive because generally I feel like a sheet mask just kind of sits on my skin acting cold and slimy and then never really does anything. The liquid in this is not just jelly based. There is more of a cream texture to it, which I actually feel does something to the skin. So I'll wear this for 20 minutes. I mean, it's still uncomfortable. Don't get me wrong. I do not like sheet masks, but I'll leave it on my face for 20 minutes when I'm watching TV. And when I take it off, it's still really gooey. But if I let that stuff sink into my skin feels amazing afterwards. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I could probably just like drain the sheet mask of the liquid and dump it on my face as opposed to just like wearing the sheet the whole time. But I mean, in terms of sheet masks, this is one of the better ones. Okay, apparently I've used a ton of sheet masks this month, so let me just whip through these ones. These are my favorite. These are the Mary Kay TimeWise Repair Lifting Bio-Cellulose Mask. Bio-Cellulose masks are my absolute favorite because they actually conform to the shape of your face. They are more comfortable to wear, they are less slimy, and when you peel them off, it's like peeling off a second skin. It's a lot of fun. So the Mary Kay ones are a total winner. I have a foot mask here by Sephora Collection, the Almond foot mask, and it's almost sad to mention this, but a subscriber very, very kindly sent this to me, which was so sweet, but this didn't do anything. I had no peeling on my feet whatsoever, and as I've already just mentioned, I have cracked and disgusting heels, so there is definitely room for improvement on my feet. This thing did nothing. I left it on exactly as the directions said, and even a week later, nothing was happening. So I don't recommend these at all, even though it was purchased for me by a subscriber, which was really, really sweet. The Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating 100% Hydrogel Mask. Love this thing so much. It's not a biocellulose film, but it's pretty close, and it comes in two pieces, so you can put it on the top half of your face and then line up the second half. It's really cool. I love the Hydro Boost range by Neutrogena. I think it is one of the best on the market, hands down. And I do really like the sheet mask, so I would consider purchasing this myself. This was sent to me by PR. The other one I have here is this Animal Otter face mask by SNP. It didn't do anything. It was just an otter, which I love otters, so I picked it up for that simple reason, but I don't feel like this actually did anything at all. All right, tons of white packets as well. Let's start off with the one that I mention every single time. The Neutrogena Hydrating Makeup Removing Wipes. Hands down, best on the market. They're better than their regular lineup ones. The hydrating ones are where it's at for me. They take off waterproof makeup, which is unheard of. Then I've got two that I really just used for swatches because I don't love them as much as the Neutrogena hydrating ones, but I'll mention them just because they're in here. I've got the Kiko Milano Pure Clean Wipes. They say waterproof makeup, but I didn't bother using them that way. I just use them for swatches. They seem nice, they smell okay. And then there's the Neutrogena Oil-Free Cleansing Wipes, Pink Grapefruit. Now, I really like the smell of pink grapefruit, so I'm always excited to use anything that smells of pink grapefruit, but I have used this on my face before and I don't feel like it takes off makeup nearly as well as the Neutrogena hydrating ones. So I like using these for the scent, but they don't work as well for me. I finished up a moisturizer, which is very exciting. This is the Aveeno Positively Nourishing Comforting Cocoa and Shea Butters Whipped Souffle. It is completely empty, and I love this so much. The smell is fantastic. It's a little bit more fresh for shea butter than is normal. Usually I feel like shea is a little bit thicker, but this was really lovely. I just kept this on the coffee table and would just lather up whenever I was watching TV or a movie, and I really enjoyed it. Again, Aveeno does such great products. You really can't go wrong with them. I have a makeup remover in here. This is a makeup remover that you are very used to seeing at this point because I am very loyal to the products that I feel are holy grail status, and this is one of them. This is the Marcel Gentle Makeup Remover for sensitive eyes. This is a bi-phase formula and it will remove every single stitch of makeup on your face. It beats out every other brand on the market. Expensive, inexpensive, this is the best. I have a mini here of the Bioderma Sensibio H2O Micellar solution. I use Bioderma every single day after I remove my makeup, just to like clean up and make sure I feel fresh. And when I'm traveling, I don't like bringing the big bottles because obviously it's a lot of liquids to be carrying. So I always bring a mini, so I'm always stocking them on hand. It usually takes me about 2 or 3 vacations to actually finish a mini, which is quite nice. So I love this thing to pieces. I have another backup. I will always have Bioderma's Micellar solution on hand. Okay, here's a product that I didn't finish, but I am done using it. I'm just annoyed. I know I mentioned this in my skincare routine recently, probably went up a few months ago, but I don't like it anymore. I'm just done. This is the Biotherm Aqua Source Ever Plump Night Cream, and it's not really a cream, it's more of a jelly goo, and it is super thick. And if you apply it lightly, I don't know, I guess it's still thick. I just don't really enjoy this product anymore. I've used, oh, it's starting to move around a little bit. I've used about half of the bottle, I would say, and I'm not in love with it. I'm done using it. I don't care anymore. I often feel like I need to use up the products that I'm sent because I don't have especially sensitive skin, but this stuff just feels thick and gooey on my face, and it takes forever to sink in. And when I lay my head on my pillow, I can feel my skin sticking to my cheek, and I'm just not about that. So I don't recommend this. I mean, it does the job, it does hydrate, but I can't stand wearing this to bed at night. In terms of moisturizers that I do enjoy, the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel Moisturizer is amazing. Anything in the Hydro Boost range is fantastic, frankly. This one is super sloppy. Like, if you open the jar and you're kind of tilting it, it will practically fly out of it at you, but it works so well. It is such a good scent on this. It's very clean, aquatic, which I'm drawn towards. I really do like smelling this product. And I have another backup in my cupboard right now. I'm finishing up another moisturizer right now, but I can't wait to go back to this one because it is one of the best on the market. I've gone through 4 of these at this point. They're fantastic. I have another perfume in here. This is the Elizabeth and, why am I looking for it? I know what it's called. This is the Elizabeth and James Nirvana Black perfume. And I bought this quite a few years ago now, and I used it very rarely. It was kind of like a Friday perfume for me because it feels kind of badass when I wear it because it is a bit more of a thicker scent. It's not a scent I'm very drawn towards because I do tend to prefer aquatic scents, but there was something about this one that just really grabbed me. But I used this up recently because I bought a larger bottle that I found at Winners because they've discontinued this. It's gone. They don't have it on Sephora's website anymore. It's not being promoted anywhere. It's at discount retailers. So I snatched up a bigger bottle, but then I was like, okay, you might as well use up the smaller one that you have. So once that larger bottle is done, I'm not gonna be able to get Nirvana Black anymore. So great perfume, but you can't get it anymore, which is weird because I feel like a lot of people love this perfume and a lot of people talked about it, and I could always smell it on people in different places. I was like, you're wearing Nirvana Black because it's a very unique scent. So I don't know why they've done away with it, but they have. I have 3 brow pencils in here. 2 are my usual NYX Micro Brow in Taupe. Fantastic, go through this all the time. I am really getting down on my stash though. I had 10 backups, I think it was at one point, because I bought a whole whack of them at IMATS one year, but I think I'm down to like 3 now, which is starting to make me a little bit nervous. So I'll be purchasing these in bulk whenever I see them on sale, hopefully in the near future, because the Taupe shade is just fantastic for my brows, and the price point on NYX is the best on the market, really. So really enjoyed these. And then I've got one here I just didn't love, even though I used it up. It's the Pop Beauty Peak Performance Brow, and I do not understand how people use this triangular shape. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, because if I'm drawing it on my brow with the fat shape out, then I'm left with a stump at the end of my brow. So that doesn't make sense. But if I turn it around, the pressure is where the fatter part is, so then I don't get a point at the end of my brow anyway, because I'm not putting any pressure on the smaller part, which is how I would build the brow that way. Anyway, I really don't understand the triangular shape for brows. I think it's really bizarre. Clearly I don't have the technique or tricks for it, but this one in general, aside from the weird shape, I don't feel like the color was actually dark enough. Now I realize that my hair is very pale, but you can't put brow hair this color on your brows and have any hope in hell of ever seeing your eyebrows. So you, as a blonde, have to wear something that's darker for your brows. And this was just way too pale for me. So didn't love it, thought the product was weird. It's called Taupe Blonde, but it is very blonde and not very taupe. I have two mascaras to talk about. One is a mini sample size from MAC. I got it in an order I placed online, which was nice. And it's funny because I remember people absolutely shitting on MAC mascaras like 10 years ago. They were so known for having terrible mascaras. But I didn't feel like this one was so bad. This is the MAC in Extreme Dimension 3D Black Lash. And the brush is one of those plastic bristle brushes, so I feel like it did a good job of grabbing my lash hairs and really combing through it. I wish it was conical, like it is pretty much straight all the way across, but I thought that this actually worked out pretty well, and I think it lasted me probably about a month, even though the tube is very small. But I have mentioned before that I'm just done buying high-end mascara. I really don't think that there's any point because the drugstore does very well in the mascara department, so even though I enjoyed this very much, I won't be going out to buy it. Now here's one that I thought I loved, and I gave it a good review on my blog, but I just found after a month had passed, I didn't really like it anymore. So this is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. It has an hourglass shaped wand, which is not my favorite, but I did feel like it actually applied decently. I do prefer a mascara wand that is more conical and slimmer, just because I can get really into those hairs on those lashes on the inner, I guess it is hair really, those lashes on the inner corner of my eye. And I feel like with a huge bulbous tip, it's really hard to get in there without like just jabbing yourself. Anyway, all that aside, I did feel like this actually went on pretty well for the first month. It was quite liquid, and then I just kind of got tired of it. I felt like over time the wand was just too cumbersome, and somehow it just started to feel larger over time and just too much hassle compared to my regular mascaras. So it was okay. I really liked it to begin with, but at the end I didn't like it, so I don't know. I have a lip primer here. This is the Art Deco Invisible Lip Contour 1. I'm pretty sure there's only one shade. This was fine, but it doesn't work as well as my MAC Prep and Prime for lips, so it was good to use. I kept it at the office, but when it was finished, I was like, I'm not going back to you because I prefer the MAC one better. Invisible lip liners, if you're not aware, help to keep your lip color from bleeding outside of your lip line, which I have a lot of problems with. There is practically no lipstick that I can wear that will not seep outside of my lip line without wearing some kind of primer or a pencil. And this did enough to keep the lip color in place, but it's just not as good as the MAC one, so I would recommend the MAC Prep and Prime for lips over the Art Deco lip liner. Have a face wash here. This is the Boscia Thermal Black Cleanser, and I love this stuff so much. So when it comes out of the pump, it's black, which is really cool. Then you put it on your face and it warms up your face. That feels so freaking nice throughout the winter months when you hop in the shower, you just want to get warm right away. I loved washing my face with this so much. The only thing I don't like about it is this stupid pump top. It's horrible. It is so bad getting the product out of this thing. It goes down really, like, it's hard to get it down, and then it stays down and it doesn't like come back up unless I yank the top up, and I'm like, this is just irritating. So I ended up decanting the whole thing into like a squeezy tube so I could just use it much more easily in the shower. So love the product, hate the delivery system, but I would definitely purchase this again. I bought this one at Winners when it was like half off the regular price that you would pay at Sephora, and I was really excited by that. And I do have another one in my closet right now. I would potentially pay full price for this in the future. I have one of my favorite foundations here. This is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation in the shade 51, which is light vanilla. This is one of my favorites. I've gone through so many tubes of this over the years. I feel like 51 actually suits me better than 52 does throughout more months of the year. I feel like I've put 52 on and thought it matched, and then people have told me that it didn't match well enough. So I tend to gravitate more towards 51 now, because it works really well for me in the winter, and I don't love wearing this foundation in the summer so much because I feel like as a serum foundation, it's quite thin, it can get quite dewy, and if you're sweating outside in the summer with a dewy foundation on, you basically just end up looking like an oil slick, which is not something I really enjoy. So I think I'm just gonna stick to buying 51 and wearing it during the winter months as opposed to buying 52 and trying to make it work during the summer, because it truly just never did for me. So 51 is where it's at for me. Have a nail polish top coat here. I have mentioned this constantly over the last few years. This is the Sèche Vive top coat. It is a gel effect top coat, so it makes my nails kind of a little bit bubbly, I guess you could say. Not like bubbles in the polish, but like thicker, rounded overall. And this is not the same as Sèche Vite. People tend to tell me where I can go buy Sèche Vite, and I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. Sèche Vive comes in this dark blue bottle versus Sèche Vite is that clear bottle. Sèche Vive is the one that works for me. I have not used Sèche Vite, but I have heard that it makes your nail polish kind of shrink on your nail, which is not something I'm into. This one doesn't do that. It is the perfect top coat as far as I'm concerned. It makes my nail polish last an entire week, and I will never change brands. And I have an empty eyeshadow pan here, which is very exciting. This was MAC's Blanc Type eyeshadow, which I use as a brow bone highlight every single day, and I'm pretty sure it took me 2 years of straight use to finish this sucker up. It took so long. And unfortunately, while this is a fantastic and perfect highlight shade for me for my brow bone, they don't make it anymore. And I really don't know why. This was part of their matte 2 or matte squared formula. That was the best mattes that they have ever made. They were smooth and creamy and buttery, and they discontinued all of them. It's really bizarre, but this was great while it lasted, but now it's done, and I've got a ton of other matte bone cream highlight shades at my disposal to use up. I have a sponge here by Real Techniques. This is the Miracle Complexion Sponge. It's my favorite sponge of life. I am currently using a beauty blender only because a friend gave it to me, but I actually feel like the beauty blender sucks up way more product than this one does. So I will always stick to the Real Techniques sponge when I am repurchasing. It's my favorite sponge, and I really don't see the point in changing to another brand when I love this so much. I have a gel liner here that I'm gonna get rid of just because it's so old and I really don't reach for brown gel liner anymore. This is by MAC, and it's the shade Dip Down. And I have used oh, there is pan at the bottom of it. Very exciting. I've used a ton of it. I used to wear a lot of gel liner, but I've just switched over to pens because they're much easier, and I don't wear a lot of brown eyeliner. Like, I can't even remember the last time I did, so it's just time to ditch this. So I'll back to MAC this one and just pick up like an eyeshadow or something with any back to MAC items that I have, because I really don't need this one. I have a mini here of the Drunk Elephant Protini Polypeptide Cream, and I feel like people rave about this product, but I didn't really notice anything different on my face. I feel like it moisturized it, but it didn't do as good of a job as, say, like the Neutrogena Hydro Boost one did. I think I got this in the Sephora birthday thing this year, and it's totally empty, and I'm gonna recycle the container for vacation, but I don't feel like it did anything especially miraculous. And it doesn't really have a scent. It's got that unscented scent that I don't like, and I really like scented body care stuff, so I mean, it's fine. I would never spend the money on this thing though. And lastly, I have a pair of lashes here by Socialized. They are the style Lady, and I think they're my favorite kind by Socialized. I have a bunch of backups of this one, and it's one of the easier ones to wear because it's not a huge chunkin' lash where you gotta cut down most of it. I don't even have to cut this one down, and it mostly sticks onto like the outer 3/4 of my eye, so I find this one super easy to wear. It's a beautiful shape, and I think I just mentioned that I do have more of them as a backup because the brand kindly sent me a whole bunch that I really enjoyed. So I do recommend Socialized lashes. They are a brand out of Canada, which is always exciting to talk about, and I had a really good experience with them and other lashes that they had sent me as well, so I do recommend them. They wore a really long time too. I feel like I got 10 or 15 wears out of them. Like, it was a lot considering that they're not that expensive, so do really enjoy them. Okay, that is it. The bag is completely empty. So those were all of my empties in the last 2 months. I hope you enjoyed the reviews of all the products that I finished up. Thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.